Why is it that when a woman chooses a quiet life, living alone, keeping to herself, sharing her space with cats, not being loud, not explaining herself, not trying to please, the world rushes to label her as something gone wrong, strange, failed, pitiful, someone who needs to be saved? Why is it that when a man distances himself from romantic commitment, he's described as free, independent, enjoying life? But when a woman makes the same choice, it's treated as a warning sign, as if her life has drifted off a path she was supposed to follow. And why is it that when a woman knows clearly what she wants and what she doesn't, when she values boundaries, enjoys solitude, and refuses to settle, that clarity itself can make others uneasy, mocking, or even hostile? If these questions feel familiar to you, then today's conversation is not about whether you're antisocial, and it's not about whether loving cats means being lonely. What we're talking about is a psychological archetype that has been misunderstood, stigmatized, and rarely examined with any seriousness: the cat woman. And why this figure, ridiculed for decades, reveals something much deeper: a cultural fear of female independence, boundaries, and self-directed lives. From the beginning, the term cat lady was never neutral. It functions less like a description and more like a pre-written verdict, a suggestion that a woman's life has gone off course. In movies, jokes, and everyday language, the cat woman is portrayed as lonely, strange, disconnected from reality. She's not shown as living, she's displayed as a cautionary tale. In psychology, this is known as normative shaming. When someone deviates from a socially approved life path, labels are used to create anxiety and pressure them back into alignment. For women, that approved path has remained remarkably narrow: enter a relationship, be chosen, be needed. And this is where the imbalance becomes clear. A man who lives alone, keeps pets, and avoids long-term commitment is often admired as autonomous or self-fulfilled. A woman who does the same is more likely to be framed as cold, defective, or something went wrong. The problem was never the cat. What unsettles people is a woman who no longer organises her life around being evaluated, selected, or explained within a relationship system. So the cat woman becomes a convenient container, a place to store society's anxiety about women stepping off the script. She isn't a failure. She's simply refusing to play a role that was written long before she ever agreed to it. What truly unsettles people about the cat woman has never been loneliness. It's not being needed. Psychology has long observed that women are rarely evaluated primarily by competence, creativity, or independence. Instead, there is an unspoken metric beneath it all. Is she needed by someone? Being needed implies usefulness, emotional labour, availability, attachment. A woman who is needed feels predictable, and predictability makes systems feel safe. But when a woman no longer centres her life around being needed, when she doesn't rush into relationships, doesn't sacrifice herself for stability, doesn't define her worth through emotional dependence, she becomes what psychology calls an uncontained variable. Not because she harms anyone, but because she cannot be easily placed. In workplaces, she may be labelled difficult or hard to read. In families, she's warned not to be too picky or too independent. In romantic narratives, she's told she'll regret it someday. Psychology refers to this reaction as control anxiety. When someone cannot be predicted, relied upon, or emotionally anchored in familiar ways, others experience discomfort and instinctively try to restore order through judgment, ridicule, or labelling. The cat woman is mocked not because she is alone, but because she demonstrates something quietly destabilizing. A woman can exist fully without organizing her life around anyone else's needs. And for a system built on female emotional availability, that possibility alone is enough to feel threatening. When a woman chooses solitude, quiet, and life with her cats, the accusation she hears most often is not lonely, it's cold. She's described as distant, emotionally unavailable, hard to connect with, unwilling to give. Yet these judgments rarely come from her actual behaviour. They arise from the discomfort others feel when they encounter her boundaries. Psychology offers a clear explanation for this: projection. When people cannot tolerate their own unmet needs, their dependency, longing, or fear of being unnecessary, they unconsciously project those feelings onto someone else. A woman who is at ease with solitude can quietly mirror another person's insecurity. If she doesn't need me, what does that say about my value? So her boundaries are interpreted as rejection. Her quiet becomes arrogance. Her self-containment is labelled emotional coldness. But the cat woman is not rejecting intimacy itself. She simply no longer makes her emotional world fully accessible to everyone. She doesn't exchange connection for compliance. And that clarity of boundary can make others feel excluded. Psychological research shows that people with strong boundaries are more likely to be perceived as cold, not because they lack emotion, but because not everyone is allowed inside. She is not detached. She simply understands something deeply. Not everyone is entitled to closeness. A common misconception about the cat woman is that she rejects intimacy. Psychology suggests something very different. What she rejects is control-based intimacy. A cat is an animal that cannot be forced into closeness. It approaches not because of obligation, role, or expectation, but because it chooses to. Women who live closely with cats often internalize a different relational model. Connection must be voluntary. Closeness cannot require the sacrifice of boundaries. In relationships, these women rarely seek constant reassurance. They don't rely on emotional intensity to prove attachment. They value steadiness, respect, and space. Psychological research shows that this pattern aligns closely with secure attachment, where two people exist independently, yet are capable of genuine closeness when it matters. She doesn't cling out of fear of loss. She doesn't stay simply because she is needed. She allows distance without interpreting it as abandonment, and rhythm without mistaking it for rejection. This can make her appear less eager, but it also means she is far less likely to remain in relationships that drain her. The intimacy she practices is not avoidance. It is a more mature form of connection, without possession, without obedience, without trading dependence for safety. When she chooses to enter a relationship, it is rarely because she needs someone. It is because she wants to walk alongside them. And for many people, that level of mutual choice is a kind of intimacy they have never truly known. What truly deserves examination is not the cat woman herself, but why society feels such urgency to explain her, correct her, or discredit her. Why does a woman who chooses solitude, who does not treat intimacy as a life requirement, always seem to owe an explanation? She is asked again and again, "Were you hurt? Are you avoiding something? Aren't you actually lonely?" These questions often sound caring, but beneath them lies an assumption that her current state is incomplete. Psychology tells us otherwise. True independence is not the rejection of connection. It is the ability to choose closeness without surrendering boundaries, without exchanging autonomy for acceptance. The cat woman does not reject love. She rejects relationships that require her to shrink in order to belong. She is not unwanted. She is selective. She understands that not every connection deserves access to her life. When a woman stops trying to prove she is normal, when she no longer performs a single acceptable life script, her existence alone begins to unsettle established order. And when independence no longer needs explanation, the insult loses its power. What remains is simply a woman who knows what she wants and knows exactly what she is no longer willing to lose. This is happy psychology. May understanding bring healing and healing bring growth.